Lord Okubo, we thank you for the fan service you've given us from Arrow. We hope that you have a good life and enjoy making the series, and I hope that we are going to get even more fan service from Arrow in the future. We at the Church of Anime Perverts thank you for all what you have done. Amen. What's up, recording this? Oh, yes, I was like, ignore that. Hello, everyone. I'm Overhaul, and today we'll be reviewing Fire Force Chapter 293. Surprised I'm still doing the chapter reviews, honestly. I thought I just stopped them after a while. I think it was after the whole change of schedule, and then only a couple of times where volumes came out, chapters came out, official releases before Saturday, today and to Saturday. But yeah. Well, hello everyone. Now, they should disclaimer at the beginning of the videos. I am not a kid specific channel. I do not, although my content may seem like it's for kids, it's not. Especially Fire Force content, since a lot of the things are a little more mature than most serious. I mean, needless to say, turning people into demonic uh, zombie flame creatures is not really what kids should be watching, no matter what animation quality is. So, yeah. If you're a child, I would advise you not to watch this because, again, I will start describing, start talking, or just saying language that's not appropriate for kids. So, with that out of the way, let's get into this chapter review. This chapter. I was honestly, this is the chapter I was probably waiting for a long ass time since it has a lot of things that I was like, kind of, when it all happened. Like, how will, like, the Fire Force react to Arrow? How would the first meeting be like? Will it be something like, just them accidentally coming across each other while fighting to fight one of the White Lad? We don't know. But needless to say, I wasn't disappointed, and it still has the possibility to grow. But before we get into the meeting between Batgirl, Arrow, and the 8th, let's go through what happens in the chapter. We start this off with just people realizing and confirming honestly that all the pillars would have vanished. In the previous chapter, I was a bit curious if it really is all the pillars or if it's just Sharon disappeared because the people started believing him being the hero and start believing him being the devil. So I was a bit curious on that, but no, in this chapter it's confirmed that every pillar disappeared. Some seem to have disappeared a little later, but you could also say that it's supposed to be at the same time, it's just we're getting a little more far back in the past. But yeah, it's confirmed all the pillars disappeared. We see the Eve reacting to Shino disappearing, we see Tamaki reacting to Iris disappearing, and we see Arrow, Basquiat of course, reacting to Shu disappearing. So yeah. Then after we get those reactions, we also find out there's a blackout throughout Tokyo. Makes sense. Amaterasu is also a pillar, and she's the first pillar in fact. And she is kind of used to power the entire country. And if she's gone, there's not gonna be any more power. So it's blackouts everywhere, and if that's not worse enough, we also have infernals popping out all over the world. I don't know if when they say that includes Asakusa because they didn't have the same belief as the rest of the world, or if that's just like in general just popping out everywhere. Honestly, I feel like the only reason why they have that is more to like just have a reason why there's not an overwhelming force of fire soldiers and Hajima staff out there. Because let's think about this. You have 8 companies, and a lot of those companies have a bunch of soldiers everywhere. It will be kind of overwhelming, no matter how much powerful guys like Char and Dragon are. So yeah. Then we cut to the White Clad, and we see Yuna in his I don't even know what to describe it as. I want to say it's supposed to be this kind of like this extra communication device type of alien creature thing looking, but there doesn't seem to be any applications to it. In fact, we don't even fucking know if it can move. Seriously, I don't believe Yuna even has legs. I think it's just like, it's just honestly, it seems more like those abstract type like a those abstract type of equipment, like those vases and that. Like, it just looks so weird. He just looks so weird. Like, I get the previous looks, it's just like humanoid, but this one doesn't even make sense in terms of infernals. But yeah, we see the white clad pillars there. We see Sumeria, we see Haumea, we see Inca. Important thing to mention is that this is the first time we've seen Inca since she went with Shinra to the past. And we don't get much from her this chapter, it's only confirmed that she's still there. My personal idea is that she is there, but her insanity has kinda like went down a notch because it is why she doesn't even talk about anything. It's not even like, oh, are you supposed to tell me I'm gonna have to leave this beautiful destruction? I think that she's in a type of kind of like a traumatized state where she's alive and all well, but just kind of psychologically she's not like the same as she used to be. Then we of course see how Maya first having that goofy expression like that she had in the previous chapter we seen her, but this one she returns to back to her sadistic grin, and they all disappeared. And then we get Yuna like talking about, Shinra Kusakabe, you were supposed to be manga Jesus, literally. But no, you're nothing more than a devil. You might have had a possibility of being manga Jesus, but no, you're not. Basically kind of like confirming, yes, that is what's happening. I don't believe it was confirmed beforehand, but that is confirmed in this chapter. So yeah. Then we cut back to it's kind of reaction to the whole, kind of like trying to analyze the situation, which Licht finally, he tells everyone in the 8, Shinra, and Iris are both pillars. We all kind of knew Iris was a pillar. I believe it was already kind of confirmed. I don't believe it was directly confirmed, but I think we could have all assumed. I mean, the Vicar literally had her stay as the pillar for weeks and weeks by now. Months, honestly, if I'm being honest with yourselves. So yeah. It makes sense. The other ones still they knew, which technically makes sense. I mean, they really only had like 2 times that happened. The first time they fought was Maki, and the second time was literally a minute ago. So yeah. Lick concludes, and we get a little comedy scene with Alpha thinking that they might be on the matchbox for some reason. As beats me why he thought that. Or why they did that and all. Would that even be possible? Because I don't think that should be. So yeah. Basically we get a bit of comedy and we also get some more revelation. But they're still wondering where are they? Which, thank Aventus I guess, is that Arrow, her beautiful goddess, or whatever analogy you want to make of her, is here. I know a lot of people are gonna say Maki's best girl, but to me, Arrow's best girl, and let's be real here, best girls are pretty much subjective to the person. It's not like maybe a big group will decide, yes, Maki's best girl, but honestly, I would say Arrow is a pretty good contender for the second best girl. So yeah, she shows up and says Adola. Which honestly makes sense. I mean, the people with Adola links and Adola bursts or pillars were pretty much linking themselves to the world of Adola pretty regularly. If I believe in pretty much every arc there was at least some kind of Adola link to at some point. So it makes sense that they'll go to Adola. But for some reason the Ave don't really seem to believe it. Because, well, granted, it's Arrow and they are aware that she's on their side right now. Now, of course, when she shows up, he knows like, you! Which makes sense since he was the one who had the battle with her. which ended up winning, so I'm not sure why he was all like so scared of her. I guess maybe it was because he was so close to a fight, and honestly, it was only because the his second generation ability was really great, worked really well against Arrow. So yeah, Arrow, Arrow shows up and starts explaining everything. She explains that they do have time, but they can't waste it. They don't have like a billion. They don't have like months in advance. They have to hurry. But then obviously Tamaki, being the person of reason, saying like, "What the heck are you doing here? Why the heck should we believe anything you say? I still remember what you did to Captain Hyun, I believe was his name, and that you cut his arm off. I remember what happened with Rekka. Yeah, we get that, and I understand why that's happened. Like, you don't want to just be like, oh, white clad member who's been fighting against us for ever since we met her. Hell, even before we met you face to face. Honestly, the first time we ever encountered you you're not here, and telling us things even though we have no idea of. If I remember correctly, I don't believe the air didn't even see Shu. Now I think about it. I mean, Ugon saw Shu in the first pillar, but I don't believe he saw him on the 8th. So that makes sense why. To be pissed, honestly. And it also makes sense why Tamaki would be the one. Like I said in my video with Shu and Arrow leaving Vink. It makes sense that they would react. Tamaki would be one of the ones who would be really into like punching Arrow. Honestly, I'm surprised that Arrow wasn't getting punched immediately. Hell, I think it's because she was starting to explain things as soon as she arrived is why they didn't like just jump to her and start beating the ever-living shit out of her. Which I don't want that to happen, but I do understand why it would happen. So yeah, Arrow shows up and explains, and Maki also asks her what is her game, I guess, her game, to tell them what she knows. And basically, what's explanation is, before she shot through the pool for him to go and catch Shinra, there was this discussion they had where Shu told her even if Shinra saves them, they could still disappear, which implies that they kind of knew that was going to happen, which just makes me wonder how much do Shu and Aaron know about these type of things, because Chan wasn't even aware that the pillars were not needed altogether, but it's probably like some kind of more publicly known information to make, I guess, kind of have the pillars guardians be a little more used to it, I guess. I'm not sure. So we get that, and we get this scene where Arrow is like, but Commander, if you disappear, then and then Shu cuts her off, and I guess that's because here's the thing, if Shu dies and Arrow survives, whatever happens, Arrow will kill herself immediately after, unless if there's some kind of order that Shu gives her that will give her a reason to live. So, Arrow was probably going to say, if you disappear, then there's no purpose for me to live. Again, it's kind of like there's kind of sick, twisted sense to it, where, yeah, you really shouldn't live just by saving one person and decide your life based on that. Which is horrific, kind of, but in a way it's kind of like endearing how much she cares and how much she values living with him. But again, it's kind of twisted. Now, Shu tells her, do not lose hope. That as long as since my brother is here, there is always hope. There will never be a chance that the world where is going to die. That the world's gonna end. Which is in a way true. Now, there are some theories about the Fire Force world being the prequel to Soul Eater, which is possible, but I'm guessing there's gonna be a happy ending here. I'm guessing it's not going to be like, everyone dies, it's just that Adola and Fusing will just create Soul Eater, I'm not that's going to be the answer. I'm pretty sure that Okubo's not gonna end it in this way. It's probably gonna be a more positive ending, like maybe the world will still have kind of like resemblance to Adola, but maybe not fully. And yeah. Anyways, she tells her that there's always going to be hope, and she agrees. And this is like the first time we see her smile, which granted, just like a side shot of her smiling. I'm guessing this is probably. I'm guessing this is supposed to be like a smile that's alright, good for now, but when Shu reappears, that's where we're gonna get like a really focus on Arrow smiling. I personally feel like the smile shouldn't happen in this chapter, so we could like get up. So when we inevitably, so when Shu comes back, Shu's smile, Arrow's smile will be even better and more dramatic, since that's the first time we see her smiling. But I get the idea why, and honestly, and honestly, I can, and it's honestly, even if he didn't show, we probably all knew that she would smile. So yeah, she explained that's the reason why she's here and why she's helping. Now, Arrow explains to the Ape that there is a switch that they have to, that the White Cat has to activate, not sure what kind of switch that's going to be, before the cataclysm can start. And they're kind of, and she also explained the reason why there's a blackout and the infernals is because Amaterasu is missing. I'm guessing that's something they could have figured out about her, but it's just nice to get everyone up to speed. So, Arrow explains all this, and Vulcan doesn't even need Arrow to tell him where the switch is, because he could just kind of guess, like, wait a second, Giovanni wanted Kito Amaterasu. That has never came up or ever really got ever addressed. Clearly has to mean something, meaning that the only way is the switch is Amaterasu. Now we don't see Arrow kind of like doing anything to imply, but I'm guessing it's the lack of panels. I'm guessing that in the anime it'll be like kind of like a handshake in agreement, or just her saying yes. But anyways, we can safe to say it's Amaterasu, and honestly, I totally see it. I don't think she's lying or anything. In fact, those was the 8 that came up with that, so you can't really blame her. I feel like she would tell them if it was wrong. But again, it's definitely on Amaterasu. So we get the 8 pretty much like setting out. Now, when they're going to the matchbox, it will ask, may I ask you that you let me accompany you? Which, honestly, I just gotta find it hilarious how the Ape doesn't trust Arrow as much as they can throw her. In fact, literally the next day is like, Maki, Arthur, don't, and then be like, don't worry, so we'll make sure that she doesn't do anything funny. Arthur was like, don't do any funny business. We won't let you do it. Well, 2 of your strongest fighters, honestly, I would say the 2 strongest, are being sent to make sure that she doesn't do anything. Yeah, they were going to leave her on the bridge with a bunch of people still running around and a bunch of confusion. Again, she's someone who fights in a distance, and yet they're just going to leave her on the bridge. I find that kind of fine that she had to be the one who came to them, told them like something like, alright, White Cat chick, you're coming with us. I'm guessing the captors and the apes don't know her name actually, so I guess it makes sense to call her just White Cat, that chick, or White Cat Sniper. But I just find it funny the fact that they didn't know. So then, after that, Obi then asked, there will always be hope. Strong words, huh? And then Arrow says, oh, they are Commander's words. Do I kind of get everyone, yeah, I'm not the one saying that, it's Commander the one who's doing that. And then Obi's like, well, Shukun, huh? Well, alright, as long as there is still a world, there will always be hope. And then we get Vulcan like screaming and saying, do Amaterasu! Kind of reminiscing to the Hajime arc where he's going, this is war, you motherfuckers! Oh, mother lovers. Censorship in manga is sometimes just hilarious. So yeah, and the final page is us seeing the White Clad, Dragon, Ritsu, Chawa, and Yuno with halfway reveal Giovanni setting up to go to Amaterasu. Alright, now let's talk about a little bit of Giovanni's appearance. From what we've seen, Giovanni's appearance is now more like a. You know how Hootie is from Owl House? It seems like his hat is something like that, with a giant mouth, what looks to be on his chest, with multiple eyeballs, with some kind of a weird insect skeleton like arm, which seems to be normal by that. Well, normal. And his eyes now seem to have multiple pupils that seem to be shaped like bugs. Now, I may need to recheck my anime history or something, or my anime book, but can someone explain to me what the fuck is up with these freaking designs who honestly don't even look like practical? I mean, seriously, can someone explain to me what the fuck is up making these weird fusions of multiple people and insect designs? Because a lot of times they don't even look practical. And that's honestly what Giovanni's design looks to me right now. I mean, I know we don't get to see him in his full appearance. In fact, you can argue we're gonna see him in the next chapter. But from what we've seen of right now, his appearance looks unbelievably unstable. It looks like it'll just be more like fucking scary. I mean, I understand characters that whole thing is making you afraid. I can see why they would have this type of appearances so they can get stronger and beat you, but Giovanni's body is all mechanical. Maybe some infernal fusion in it since those eyes and mouth do look normal, but still, what the fuck is up with that design? Seriously. I mean, look, I have no problem with Yuno and Giovanni being those kind of like, change their appearance type of characters. Like, every time you see them, they're gonna have a slightly altered appearance. I get that. But why isn't their appearances look like something from a weird abstract fusion thing horror show? When they honestly don't even look that practical. Yuno looks like a fucking, looks like some decoration you put in your room. And Giovanni looks like some weird, gross fusion that people do when they want to make something disgusting and scary looking. Like, ew. Like, what the fuck is that? The point of these? Are these even practical? You know, that's... Aside from them weird designs, let's talk about the final matchups. Now, it seems like how we're gonna go with this arc forward, or the final beats of the story, is that we're gonna get the fights between the White Clad and the 8th with no pillars right now. Now, it's possible that we're gonna later on go to the pillars. Or maybe after we conclude these fights, we'll get into the pillars stuff. But the way it seems like right now, it seems like it's gonna be the White Clad versus the 8th. So, now let's go by the final matchups. I'm guessing that not all of the characters we've seen over the White Clad and all the swords are going to be there. I'm guessing that that's going to be the ones we see in the final page, as well as the characters and specialist force, because that's kind of whole thing. Now, if we go by, I'm guessing we're going to get the 8th, the Joker, and maybe some other characters more important, the Fire Force, appearing. Since Lisa's not there, I'm guessing that's another reason why. And Joker also wasn't there for a while, even though we didn't know Cooper didn't forget about him. So I'm guessing they are going to appear, but they're not going to be, like, maybe they're going to be also cold and they're going to go there immediately afterwards. As I can imagine Hibana driving Lisa and then coming across Lieutenant Karim. And maybe some other characters are going to come and then go and fight. So, for the matchups that I see going right now, I see Dragon and Arthur, an obvious one. Vulcan and Giovanni, and there's a lot of history, and Lisa shows up, it will be Dan versus Giovanni. And the final one I would say is obvious, is Fieri and Arrow, because Fieri has this kind of hatred towards Arrow because she was chosen to be the pillar, even though he thinks himself to be the best he should have been a pillar because he would be a better option. And honestly, I can imagine him. And honestly, I can imagine this like kind of like moment where Fear like kind of holds him like kind of this guy killing hold, and he's like kind of crushing her, and screams out, "Why were you chosen? I'm so much stronger than you." And then kind of Arrow just getting kind of like this, like a very simple and a very obvious ritual, like, yeah, you're stronger than me, but that doesn't mean you're more of right to be a pillar. I mean, look at you. You literally admit that you would not do what is best for him. I mean, I let him stay there, which was my mistake. But as soon as there was an opening for him to escape, I didn't oppose him. I went with him. You would have fought him. So yeah, I can imagine it being something like that. So that's why I'm guessing it's gonna be Fury versus Arrow. Kind of wonder how that fight will go, since there's a big power gap and I have a hard time seeing Arrow. But maybe there's gonna be some kind of a twist to the gravity magic that Arrow has that she can use against him. So yeah, as for anyone else, I would say Ritsu versus Maki, because Ritsu is kind of like a necromancer thing going on, and Maki wants to be the witch. I guess because of physicality, it would be Sharon and Obi, although maybe Obi and Hinua versus Sharon. Not sure. I'm not even sure how he fucking moves. How he can fucking move. I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if he's like, he fights Lick and it's kind of like this, like a, like, I can honestly imagine, like, we have like Arrow like shooting giant, like a bunch of different types of arrows, and Fier, while he does some something Dante Stone Swords level shit with Giovanni's fucking design rummaging through while Vulcan has some kind of armor on beating the crap. Well, I can also imagine Yuna and Lick just kind of like beating each other up like little girls, like something similar to in Hajima where he just like said, punches one professor. He's like, I may be a wimp, but I'm not gonna lose to any wimp. So there. Honestly, I can see like that. I can imagine like seeing, like kind of like doing, well, Yuna is like, or probably like something, like very pathetic and very like, oh my god, this is supposed to be a serious fight. I mean, yeah, maybe has some kind of abilities that would make him a challenge. I mean, some people saying that he should fight Mao and Joker or someone on those tier. But honestly, he's quite possibly one of the weakest White Clan members out there. And so far, he hasn't shown any kind of combat ability, fighting some of the strongest captors the Fire Force has. Honestly, I am kind of wondering who those friends that Joker has are now that I think about it. We never got them revealed. So who knows? I honestly imagine that maybe is gonna summon Benny Mao's doppelganger, or maybe he'll get the body of Benny Mao's doppelganger. Honestly, outside that, I don't see him like being anything more than like a jokey fight with Licht. So yeah, this was my chapter review of Fire Force chapter 239. I hope you're gonna tell me in the comments below, what do you think about this chapter? What are your opinions? What matchups do you want to see? So anyways, leave all of your thoughts in the comments below. Now, I hope you liked this video. I hope you click the like button, subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future, and that's it. I cannot wait to see all you people next time. Bye.